It's time for another episode of 5 Quick Questions. My guest today, superstar Big Kenny, is in the building. This dude is a legend. Cannot wait to chop it up. I hope you're ready, because I'm ready. Let's go! What up, y'all? Roddy Perry in the building. My guest for today, fabulous comedian. We've been knowing each other many years. Never had no beef. Always been cool. And I wanted to bring him on the show, one, to honor what he does, and two, to just chop it up and find out some stuff maybe I didn't know, and educate you on some stuff maybe you don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, on the show today, my man Big Kenny is in the building. What's up, bro?
Hey, what's going on, Rodney Perry? How you doing, bro?
Hey, man, first of all, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. The name of the show is 5 Quick Questions. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to attempt to ask you, because we can talk comedy all day. You know, so
right.
Who is your influence? Like,
I credit two comedians with my primarily seeking. Well, comedy has different disciplines.
Mm-hmm. True.
Each of those disciplines has an influence. For me, raw emotion, the ability to tell a story from a first person point of view is Richard Pryor. Observational comedy is George Carlin. And crowd work and the ability to just riff while on stage, it was Robin Williams.
Really? So, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He would do full sets of just crowd work, even for television appearances. And the closest I've come to something like that is writing a set for TV the night before the show. So, and just taking my chances in front of the camera.
Dude, that's a really interesting concept, because I subscribe to the idea of different disciplines. And I think nowadays comics kind of only master one discipline.
Well, and I was going to say it's not easy, but it can be very profitable to specialize in. Like when I started comedy, I went from open mic to feature. Barbara Carlisle took me under her wing. I was filling in for Lav Love.
Okay.
At the Comedy House in Augusta. And Barbara was the headliner. And this is my first time ever even having an opportunity to do 30 minutes. I think I might have done 35. Yeah. But the thing about it is, I skipped we go open mic, opener, host, feature. I skipped the steps. And the first time I had to host a show, I was totally lost, bro. I was totally lost. I was horrible at hosting the show because I had skipped that step. You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand that it was a separate discipline. It had its own set of responsibilities and customs and requirements that I knew nothing about. And as a result, I did a horrible job hosting. So I went back and had to pick up all of that stuff kind of remedially. You know what I mean?
Wow. Big Kenny, question number 2. Who is the current GOAT, if anybody, in your opinion?
The current GOAT of stand-up comedy? It from any era?
Any era. It's completely your opinion.
Oh, to me, it'll always be Richard Pryor. There's no
again.
And now everybody else is his son. You feel me? Everybody else is his son, and you can say it how you want to say it, but everybody else owe Rich that, and maybe because it's so dear to me. But Chappelle, the raw, in your face, unapologetic. That Chappelle is. Rich was that first. You see what I'm saying? The impersonations, the ability to do vocal inflections and sell a joke with just the physical look. The comedians that we see now that do that extremely well the Cat Williams, they owe that to Rich. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Rich did all of that. And I'm not saying that anybody took that from him. I'm just saying you can't taste the soup and not have that you on your breath. You see what I'm saying? We
No,
all
I do.
eat from
I
that
completely
pot.
get it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had this
yeah.
debate with some young comics. I think Ryan Davis, and they were saying that Chris Rock was their GOAT. But I told them, I said Chris Rock would yield to Richard Pryor, and so, but I understand because they never really saw the man, But that don't mean he's not still the greatest of all time. You know what I mean?
It's the same way somebody would go, man, Shaq, 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 and I would say Kareem, and they go, man, you crazy, and they argue me down, and then Shaq would walk into a room and say, man, don't say that, bro. Kareem the great, Shaq would tell you, don't argue about me over Kareem. That's a argument. That's a no-brainer. Kareem is the greatest. So again, a lot of times we like to choose our era. But I'm talking about somebody whose impact transcends the generations. You know what I mean? You can say Richard Pryor without saying comedy, and everybody know who you're talking about. You see
Yes,
what I'm
very
saying?
true.
You
Very
could
true.
say Pryor and say comedy, and everybody will say Richard.
Yes, sir.
You feel me? So that's
Very
when I
true.
say GOAT. When I'm talking about GOAT, I'm talking about one names, Madonna. You know who I'm talking about. Beyonce. You know who I'm talking about. Ain't no Beyonce the singer. Ain't no Madonna
Right.
Denzel the dude from the movie. You know who I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
Rich.
I think that's one of the things we're working for. I mean, at the outset of your career, you're working to get credit, but ultimately you're working where people can go, ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage, Big Kenny. You know what I'm
And
saying? That's what you're working for.
and the thing is, I think people throw GOAT around too much. People make GOAT about having a really outstanding moment. GOATs are all time. That's what the A stand for, all time. You can't be the GOAT if you still in the moment. You gotta be done with that time. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
You gotta have compiled a body of work
Yeah.
to uh, display before you
Yes.
can start claiming all time. So you have like we just had the NFL draft. A lot of them dudes go to the NFL based on the game they had against their rival. Based on the
Yes.
season when they filled in for 4 games at the end of the season, and that's not a body of work.
Got it. Got it. I think I think we talked before about different disciplines of comedy, and I think Chappelle, although very great, he hasn't shown me but maybe two different disciplines. Like I still wonder what it's gonna be like when he starts talking about his family and starts being giving us that because he's really observational now. You agree?
Um, I do a sports show, sports jock show with Wayne Gandy. It's a entertainment uh, talk sports radio show. And today we spoke about The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, having a birthday. So they did a birthday shout out. And then someone said something about a movie he's got coming out. And they said, where he will act like The Rock, just in whatever that character's supposed to be. So if it's a love scene, he's The Rock in a love scene. If
Right.
it's a secret agent, he's the Rock you know what I'm saying? People have said that about Steve Harvey. No matter what character he played the same way. He
And
just
that's a gift. That's a gift in itself.
that's a gift in itself to be able to transfer that one personality to so many different roles. But for displaying disciplines, comedy, one of the things that the purists like to do is display range. You understand what I'm saying? At least
Yeah.
for me. Uh, Again, the one trick pony run a long time, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to say if it's working, don't use it. But I prefer the more creative. You were specifically talking about Chappelle showing only two disciplines. Um, I think some of that is being unwilling to step outside that what works well.
Question number 3, Big Kenny. How do your students find you?
They used to just go to the link uh with the club that I was doing, man. But I'm on social media. You know, they could just hit me up that way, DM me. And now, again, I don't teach the class anymore. I do consulting. Generally, the consulting
One on
is
one.
uh, I'll do one-on-one if you have a group that can come up with a schedule, because I'll give you 4 weeks of consultation, roughly 3 hours a week. Um, so if you can get you and your friends to get together for 3 hours a week, but if it's you one-on-one for that 3 hours, I will consult with you. With the advent of video, I will have you go through your emotions with stage presence. We work on the joke writing process to include the formula, premise, setup, punchline. A lot of people don't understand that there's a formula for writing a joke. And so
Yes.
we discuss those kinds of things. We discuss the different styles of comedy. I help people develop their personality into uh, and their style into a performance that can be put on a professional stage and survive after that 4 weeks. That is my guarantee. You will get on stage and you can survive 5 minutes anywhere in the country. That's how funny I can help you become in
Wow.
roughly
That
in,
brings
in
something to
about five.
mind. Question number 4, Big Kenny, is black comedy different than white comedy and or mainstream?
Um, yes, it is. And black comedy is different from white comedy and mainstream comedy in that people's perceptions have been fooled into believing that laughter comes with a color. So instead
Mm.
of just trying to be funny, you trying to be black funny. I tell my students, instead of just trying to be funny, you trying to be girl funny. You trying to be bad bitch funny. You trying to be um, white guy who hang with black people funny. You trying to be white guy who don't know nothing about black people, but I'm in front of black people funny. I tell all of the people who I helped consult with and instruct, write your jokes from a human experience. That way you can engulf everybody listening. If my jokes are for fathers and husbands, all the single dudes tune out immediately. The
Mhm.
single women ain't really paying attention because I'm already married. You see what I'm saying?
Got it.
That comedy to me is a unifying tool. So all of my jokes are from a perspective of the human experience. You might not be in my situation, but you have been in your situation that reminds you of what I'm talking about.
Wow, that's really some high level advice too, because it took me many years to understand that. I remember as a young comic playing doing showcases for white folks and just not understanding how to communicate to them, and I had to learn that my voice was valid. And once I start to be true to that, I began to make some headway.
And I don't change my jokes. I don't the same way I give it to you. If I'm at the shuck and jive, if I'm at the Grey Poupon, I'm the same way. Got what you gonna get is what you got. You know what I'm saying? I'm here because I'm an expert. You
Wow,
understand?
wow.
So if there are any other experts in the room, speak now, or God damn it, get these jokes. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love that. Hey,
Yeah.
question number 5. The name of the show is 5 Quick Questions. Kenny, um, a comedian asked me this just last night, and I would love to hear your perspective. She was she have a significant other. She was concerned about doing a joke that would offend that person. Where do you stand on that?
Um, Okay, I first and foremost believe that people's feelings are theirs alone to manage. Uh,
Ooh, ooh.
my allegiance is to my art. Now, um, who I am on stage is the same person I am in my real life, and so I have to manage who it is I want to be with who it is I'm already. So when I marry the two, my respect for my significant other would prevent me from even wanting to have thoughts about things that would embarrass them, let alone take those things to the stage. But if
Mhm.
the thing that I'm speaking is my truth and that truth offends my significant other, then that's your business to manage, goddamn it. Because where I'm from, you know who you're dealing with before we ever get to the comedy club. You see what I'm saying? So you should already have a point of reference for who I am and how I'm going to react. But uh, the spirit in which you're telling this joke too, are you telling it with them as the punchline of the joke? Are you telling it where you trying to just some shock value? You finna ambush them with some information they didn't know. You know, there are a lot of nuances to that. I can't really give
Yeah.
a
Blanket
answer
answer.
to
Yeah.
that without, yeah, because some of that sounds a little bit cloudy. You know, are y'all beefing right now? You trying to tell them something that you're afraid to just, you passive aggressive? You know, that sounds like a
Right.
lot to be going on in a relationship. And you're concerned about how your professional life gonna affect that. That's yeah, that's a lot.
Uh, we already did question number 5. I got a bonus. Big Kenny. We saw the thing with Will Smith and Chris Rock. The slap heard around the world, seen around the world. We also saw our peer Steve Brown be attacked on stage. Is Does this concern you at all that this has made us a little more vulnerable?
Again, marrying who I am with who I want to be. I want to be this guy. You see what I'm saying? I want to be that guy,
Okay.
but I'm I am eye for eye, tooth for a tooth.
Mhm.
So I think it's unfair in situations now. I've never been an advocate of violence, but I've always been a staunch advocate of protecting me and mine.
Yes.
So um, in a Steve Brown situation, that would have been handled with extreme prejudice against that man, and I would have uh, dismantled that situation as quickly and as decisively as I possibly could,
Yeah.
not only to handle that, but to handle
The room.
anybody else that might think about it. You understand? Everybody
Understood.
would be clear about this from this point forward. With the Will Smith situation, I thought it was unfortunate because he was leveraging his inability to control his emotions against Chris Rock's desire to keep his professional bearings. You see what I'm saying? You caught me at work and now you done showed out on me, pretty much feeling like I ain't finna mess up my job. I'm the
Right.
kind of guy that'll take my hat off. I've done it in restaurant business. Look, if you think that me being at work is what's giving you the advantage, let me take the name tag off and
Right.
let me explain to you who I am in real life. It's
Right.
just, you know. So in real life, you're gonna always get these hands. It's not yours to do to put your hands on me. Once
Right.
you cross, now we can freedom of speech all day, but you know, I got a personal distance that you're gonna maintain. And you know, even with freedom of speech, you better watch your tone with me because I'll close the space on you. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And
Understood. Understood.
so I don't think that men, grown men, ought to throw around threats. I don't think they ought to be having fits and tantrums of physical violence against other men and not expect severe consequences.
Agreed. The man's name is Big Kenny. Kenny, how do people stay in touch with you? We got a couple of people watching right now that want to take the class. Should they hit your DMs on your
Hit me on Facebook, man. Kenneth L. Johnson. That's my government name. You can really find me, public records, police records, all of that. That name, Kenneth L. Johnson. And then hit me on Messenger. I'll definitely make sure that we can set up a schedule. We can talk about the payment arrangements and the things like that for the consulting fees. Or you can you you can just you can find me also. See the phone already bringing off the hook, bro. You can
That's good.
on Instagram or Twitter. Those are my two main platforms, bro. The Big Kenny, KENNEY, or search the hashtag Poppy Guapo. So
I've been mad at that. Hey,
yeah,
Kenny, I
yeah.
can't thank you enough for coming on, man.
Oh man, I'm honored, bro.
It's 5 quick questions. We got probably 6 or 7 in because Kenny's such a great guest. I love you, man. And
man, I love you more, bro. You honor me, man. You honor me so much with allowing me to participate in your projects, man. And I've always, we people's for real. We friends for real. Like it's not just I let some dude just trying to promote something. You my mans, and it's always great to work with you, bro. I love you, man, and have a fantastic day.
My man, hey, y'all, that's the show. It's 5 quick questions. That's Kenny L. Johnson. If you want to find him on the book. Let's go. That was my man, Big Kenny. 5 quick questions in the book. Let's go.